Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we are taking a dive into the most terrifying locations on the planet. Consider this your passport to the world's darkest corners. And we're starting with the creepiest places on Earth that can't be explained.
But are aliens hard at work deep within this mountain?
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 creepiest places on Earth that can't be explained.
At that point, people say, aha, there must be something there beyond science.
For this list, we're looking at the eeriest and most bizarre locations in the world that defy all logic. Number 20. The Eye, Argentina. Northwest of Buenos Aires lies a swampy delta of the Paraná River that houses an island known as El Ojo, or the Eye. It's so called because of its perfectly round shape, and unlike most islands, it moves. When observed from above, the Eye is clearly seen rotating about the miniature lake it resides in.
Every day, the island was in a different position. I believe there's something that's actually pulling the island around the lake.
While this has caused plenty of local legends and even alien conspiracies, scientists have offered a simpler theory. The island is a floating mass of plants held up by the buoyancy of the root's oxygen. It's pushed around its lake and briefly reattaches, only to break off again. There are similar places worldwide. However, the Eye's perfectly round shape and accompanying legends help maintain the island's mystery. Number 19. Jacuzzi of Despair, the Gulf of Mexico. Some parts of the ocean are dangerous even for fish. In 2014, researchers discovered a brine pool under the Gulf of Mexico. Otherwise referred to as underwater lakes, brine pools possess an unusually high level of salinity that keeps them distinctly separate from the surrounding seawater. And because of how salty this region is, the only life that can survive inside it are bacteria, mollusks, some kinds of shrimp, and tube worms. This particular body of water has a significantly higher temperature than the surrounding sea, which tends to attract other animals. However, once they enter it, the salinity frequently proves toxic. Hence its moniker, the Jacuzzi or Hot Tub of Despair. Number 18. Eternal Flame Falls, New York, USA. Fire and water don't go together, right? Located in New York's Chestnut Ridge Park is an area known as the Shale Creek Preserve. This preserve houses a small waterfall, underneath which an eternal flame constantly burns. The ever-burning phenomenon is the result of natural gas seeping from a grotto at the waterfall's base. This flame can be extinguished by errant splashes, but visitors can easily rekindle it with a lighter or other ignition method.
Now, on occasion, it does flame out and has to be reignited. But when I arrived there early yesterday morning, about 7:15 a.m., not a soul around, and the flame was aglow.
Although Eternal Flame Falls isn't quite inexplicable, it's still a fascinating and strange piece of the natural world that has kept the interest of the public burning brightly. Number 17. Lake Natron, Tanzania. Deadly bodies of water can also be found on land. Lake Natron is a salt lake in Tanzania, whose temperature often reaches over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Its caustic environment is capable of burning the extremities of animals without the necessary protection to endure it. Bizarrely, due to its chemical composition, the lake also preserves the carcasses of the animals that die there in a calcified state. The bacteria that live in Lake Natron produce the reddish byproduct that gives it its distinctive red or pink color. Another surprising group of animals that make this body of water their home are the flamingos that use it as a breeding ground. Nothing keeps predators away like a naturally toxic environment. Number 16. Door to Hell, Turkmenistan. The Darvaza gas crater, otherwise known as the Door to Hell, is a collapsed natural gas field near the village of the same name in Turkmenistan. At around 200 feet wide and nearly 100 feet deep, this crater is distinctive for the numerous fires that burn within. This phenomenon has given it the aura of the Underworld that inspired its nickname. However, the nature of the crater's formation and the origin of its fires are still unknown. In the past, the Turkmenistan government has attempted to extinguish or control the burn, but thus far, those attempts haven't exactly panned out. It'll be a cold day in hell, or at least its door, if anyone succeeds at that.
I was looking down, I was looking around, and it looked like a doorway to hell.
Number 15. Hoia Baciu Forest, Romania. Dracula isn't the only spooky thing about Transylvania. Reportedly named for a shepherd who went missing in the forest, along with 200 of his sheep, the Hoia Baciu Forest has often been called the creepiest forest in Europe. Numerous paranormal and otherworldly things have been attributed to this place, from ghosts to aliens.
Extraterrestrial life. You're right, Jerry. The people are gonna love it.
Visitors have reported unusual symptoms while between the trees, like nausea and unexplained paranoia. There's even a circular clearing within it where no trees grow, which has confounded soil scientists. The mystery of this Romanian forest has attracted plenty of tourists, though, who are particularly drawn to its spooky nature. Number 14, Alaska Triangle, Alaska, USA. There are regions where people go missing all the time. One of the lesser known of these is the Alaska Triangle. Covering a huge swath of the rugged Alaskan wilderness, this region has reportedly seen the disappearance of over 16,000 people in the last 35 years. The rate of disappearances in Alaska in general is much higher than the national average, as is the number of people who are never found.
Thousands of people have vanished in recent decades without a trace. Back in 1950, for example, a Douglas C-54D military craft, an airplane with 44 personnel on board, vanished on the Alaska-Yukon border without a trace.
The easy explanation is that Alaska is gigantic, has inhospitable terrain, and is largely unpopulated, meaning that finding someone can sometimes be near impossible. But that hasn't stopped many from blaming supernatural causes for the many people who have vanished in the triangle.
Across the whole of Alaska, there have been more UFO sightings than in any other U.S. state. Can it be a coincidence that it's where so many people are disappearing?
Number 13, Mapimi Silent Zone, Mexico. Mexico has its own bizarre region with many strange rumors surrounding it. The Mapimi Silent Zone is a section of desert in Durango, Mexico. Several unexplained radio outages have been reported by visitors over the last century. Additionally, the zone has been the location of an unusually high number of meteorite crashes, as well as a U.S. rocket that struck the area when control of it was lost.
Fellas, this visit's top secret. No one's to know about it, except the senior officers, scientists, and a single conspiracy not no one will believe.
There are even urban legends of a mysterious trio of uncanny people frequenting the area. While scientists suggest that minerals in the meteorites or nearby mountains may account for the loss in radio signals, the Mapimi Silent Zone has plenty of other mysteries that science has yet to speak up about.
Besides interrupted radio signals, people also had issues with satellite and television signals.
Number 12, Aokigahara Forest, Japan. Northwest of Mount Fuji, there lies around 12 square miles of forest called Aokigahara, or Blue Tree Meadow. Due to growing on a lava field, compasses placed on the ground will spin from the high iron content. Aokigahara has been associated with ghosts, and it has an enduring connection with death. Tragically, this is due to the startling number of people who have attempted to end their own lives in the forest. The exact figures of late are unknown, as Japan has ceased publishing them to discourage Aokigahara's malign reputation. However, as recently as 2010, over 50 people made Aokigahara their final destination. Number 11, Devil's Kettle, Minnesota, USA. In Judge C.R. Magny State Park in Minnesota, there's a waterfall named Devil's Kettle. The falls split into two, with one side going further downstream and the other flowing into a hole in the rock. Attempts at throwing objects into the hole and looking for them further on have proven unsuccessful, and the surrounding rock is not the type that usually forms underground passages.
U of M professor Calvin Alexander calls it a giant blender, shredding whatever enters. But where does it exit?
A recent theory holds that the objects thrown into the kettle are pulverized by the water pressure before they can reappear downstream, since there's little loss in water volume.
The DNR said Tuesday that hydrologists believe that water re-enters the river from underground not far downstream. They concluded that because the water volume flowing over the two falls is nearly identical to the flow below them, so the mystery water isn't flowing someplace else.
There are those who find fault with the theory, however, inviting us to wonder, what's really happening at the Devil's Kettle?
There's still no real confirmation as to where the water goes once it goes in.
Number 10, Catatumbo Lightning Storm, Venezuela. Just a forewarning, if you suffer from seizures, you may want to skip this entry. At the mouth of the Catatumbo River, where it spills into Lake Maracaibo, the weather gets a little intense.
Generally, the storm is not only the lightning, it's also sometimes hurricane-force winds, tornadoes, all sorts of formations of clouds, and very heavy rain.
The Catatumbo lightning storm is a phenomenon that occurs between 140 and 160 days of the year, usually at night. While its exact frequency varies from year to year, the strange occurrence has been happening with surprising regularity dating back to at least 1826.
Each storm lasts for 10 hours and can have 200 lightning strikes per hour. On some occasions, it's been recorded as having a lightning strike every second.
Scientists have had some success with predictive models, but theories on its exact cause remain inconclusive. Ideas have ranged from localized uranium to methane to a convergence of atmospheric variables.
It originates from a mass of storm clouds over 5 kilometers high, which are likely the result of winds from the lake meeting surrounding mountain ranges and collecting heat and moisture, creating electrical charges.
Whatever the cause, the effect is stunning and terrifying. Number 9. The Hessdalen Lights, Norway. Since at least the 1930s, strange lights have been observed in the sky above the Hessdalen Valley in Norway. Sometimes resembling spheres and other times streaks, these strange lights are not an aurora, nor are they any known craft, although aircraft have been mistaken for them. Their duration, speed, time of appearance, and behavior vary wildly, to the point that making observations or hypotheses has proven difficult. Aside from the inevitable claims of alien activity, a number of ideas have been put forth, such as plasma created from radon decay or electric charges generated from quartz grains in the valley below. Until a conclusive theory is reached, we'll just have to keep looking to the sky. Number 8. The Richat Structure, Mauritania. Located in the Sahara Desert, the Richat Structure, also known as the Eye of the Sahara, is a strange series of concentric geological rings. Due to its remote location, it's not easily observed. Curiously, archaeological evidence points to early human activity in the area. The Richat structure's origins have long puzzled the scientific community, with theories ranging from it being an impact crater to the lost city of Atlantis.
Wait, mother of Jefferson Davis.
It's beautiful.
The current theory is that it was originally a naturally formed volcanic dome which collapsed long ago.
Once thought to be the result of a meteor impact, researchers now believe it was caused by a large dome of molten rock, uplifting, and once at the surface, being shaped by wind and water into what we see today.
Still, the fact that its rings are equidistant and that it's so circular is a little unnerving. Number 7. Shanay Timpishka, Peru. Deep in the Peruvian Amazon, there lies a very unusual river. The Shanay Timpishka, also called La Bomba, is unlike any river in the world for one simple reason. It boils.
The river stretches nearly 4 miles long, boils to over 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and is one of 2 geothermal systems in the world not attributed to volcanic activity.
The temperature of the water there ranges from 120 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit.
It's hard to physically imagine that much hot water. You stick your hand in and you will see 2nd and 3rd degree burns.
Although there are other bodies of water that experience higher temperatures, most of these others are located near volcanoes or substantial geothermal vents, which the Shanay Timpishka is not. Some of the leading theories involve a fault-led hydrothermal feature, or even an oil field accident. But for now, the cause of the river's heat remains open to debate.
But again, despite all of these studies, all of these discoveries and the legends, a question remains. What is the significance of the boiling river?
Number 6. The Crooked Forest, Poland. The Krzewy Las, or Crooked Forest, lies just outside Gryfino, a town in Poland. A grove of pine trees, the Crooked Forest, true to its name, consists of trees whose trunks are unusually bent towards the north shortly after they emerge from the ground. Although planted fairly recently, if you can call 1930 recent, there's no record or conclusive proof for why the trees are shaped like something out of a Brothers Grimm fairy tale.
Bro, are you saying what I'm saying? I most definitely am not.
Theories abound, with some believing a snowstorm could have bent them, while others suggest human involvement to shape them like boat hulls. The equipment and method used in the latter case is anyone's guess. Number 5. The Bermuda Triangle, the Atlantic Ocean. Arguably the most infamous maritime locale on Earth, or at least the Americas, the Bermuda Triangle is a roughly triangular stretch of ocean between Bermuda, Florida, and Puerto Rico. This region has seen many disappearances of boats, ships, and airplanes over the last century or more.
The Bermuda Triangle is seen as a mysterious place just because it's so big and vast, and lots of interesting things happen there. It is very strange that you have many ships lost there, and airplanes just went missing with no explanation for it.
Theorists have suggested every supernatural phenomenon from ghosts to aliens to sea monsters. However, the scientists who even acknowledge that the Bermuda Triangle is a real phenomenon point to more likely suspects. Theories include human error or how frequently hurricanes and other large storms pass through the area. But as long as ships go missing in this zone, we'll continue to steer clear if we can.
Over the last 60 years, this mystery has sustained the wildest theories about what strange forces could be at work out here.
Number 4. Moguicheng, China. Moguicheng roughly translates to City of the Devil, and that's a hauntingly apt name for this desolate desert region. A huge stone formation resides here, with shapes that resemble castles and demons. As creepy and mysterious as these stones are, what's even more spine-tingling is the ambiance. Visitors report hearing a variety of eerie noises on the wind. During sunny days, it's said that music can be heard, while cloudy days bring on the disturbing sounds of people in pain and wild beasts. Ghost enthusiasts are sure to get a kick out of the place, but until science can explain this chilling phenomenon, other tourists may want to steer clear. Number 3. Kokomo Hum, Indiana, USA. The city of firsts, Kokomo, Indiana may seem like any other city in the United States, but there's an invisible force terrorizing the locals: sound. Some residents have reported a persistent low-pitched humming noise in the town since 1999. The noise has been blamed for everything from headaches to nausea to joint pains. One possible culprit is the nearby Daimler Chrysler plant and its huge, large cooling towers. You might not have to travel to Kokomo to experience the hum, however, as reports from across the world have people experiencing similar symptoms. Is it a case of mass hysteria, or is there something connecting these accounts? It remains a disconcerting mystery.
Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. I'm so startled.
Number 2. Fairy circles, Namibia. The crop circles of the natural world. Fairy circles are bare, circular patches of grass found in the desolate grasslands of Namibia, as well as in Western Australia. The local people have ascribed the circle's creation to gods or spirits, much like the similar phenomena of fairy rings, which are found worldwide.
There's actually millions of them, and in fact, they can grow up to 65 feet in diameter and live up to 75 years. Scientists have no idea what the heck they are or how they're formed, but they're nicknamed fairy circles.
More scientific explanations, however, include sand termites, which have been found in and around most of them, or else as a result of underground moisture competition among grasses.
Some researchers suspect a highly poisonous bush of the euphorbia family. They believe it contaminates the soil so badly that even after its death, nothing can grow.
Even a combination of plant and animal interactions has been considered. But these uncanny circles have yet to be conclusively explained. Number 1. Movile Cave, Romania. Discovered in 1986 off the coast of the Black Sea, Movile Cave is one of the most unique ecosystems in the world. Isolated from the rest of the world for 5.5 million years, Movile Cave has air with high levels of ammonia and hydrogen sulfide. This has led to the evolution of at least 33 animals found nowhere else on Earth.
Over millions of years, the creatures in this subterranean world have adapted to the conditions. Many of them are blind, their skin is translucent. In this dark place, evolution has done away with all superfluities. Coming down here is like traveling back eons in the history of the Earth.
Scientists are particularly interested in studying the life found there, as it could give clues as to what life on other planets could look like. Given the inherent danger of the environment, access to the Movile Cave is strictly controlled by the Romanian government.
This is a dark world of sterile beauty, which man enters at his peril.
Not all nightmares happen out in the woods. Some happen right on Main Street. Here now are these small American towns that serve as the creepiest.
You will not find us here at night. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 creepiest small towns in America. For this list, we're looking at towns and areas in the United States that are the most eerie, whether due to historical events, rumors of paranormal activity, or the ravages of time. Some of these places may lean into their reputations, while others may recoil from them. Number 10, Thibodaux, Louisiana. New Orleans has a storied history of hauntings, but a town nearby has a history that makes many believe it's cursed. Thibodaux is located on the Bayou Lafourche, and over the years has been the home of numerous violent moments. The most notable is the racially motivated Thibodaux Massacre, which took place in 1887 after a labor strike among sugarcane workers.
There were thousands of workers who were evicted. They made their way to Thibodaux. Thibodaux became like a refugee center. They were all over.
The strike lasted 3 weeks, but ended in devastation when white paramilitary forces struck out against the overwhelmingly black striking workers. It's unknown how many people were killed, but it is possible it was hundreds. With a history like that, you'd expect multiple areas here like the Laurel Valley Plantation to have very bad vibes. Number 9, East Bethany, New York. There isn't a whole lot to see or do in East Bethany, a tiny hamlet in New York State. Many of the tourists who visit, though, are ghost hunters who come for the supposed paranormal draw of the building now known as the Rolling Hills Asylum.
It's a building with a long history.
It was a poorhouse?
It opened as a poorhouse in the 1820s, later became an infirmary, and then a nursing home. And that history, some believe, is very much present today.
Originally created as the Genesee County Poor Farm, the location was used in American Horror Story Asylum, and once you see it, you'll understand why.
Sister Jude calls this her stairway to heaven.
The asylum has leaned into its creepy history, and now offers ghost tours and other spooky activities for visitors.
Did you just... Oh my gosh! It's on 666, look! It was on 666. Are you making the temperature good? Is that your sign? What's your sign? 666.
Number 8, Wailuku, Hawaii.
On the lush green mountainside and stretching down to the sea, you'll find Wailuku, rich in history, culture, and the heritage of the island.
When you think of Hawaii, you probably picture swaying palm trees, surfers, and sunny beaches, not ghosts and ghouls. But Wailuku, Hawaii is home to the Iao Theater, which has a history dating back to the 1920s. There have long been rumors of a female ghost who's taken up residence in the theater, and it doesn't help that the locals use this knowledge to scare visitors by messing with the lights. It was potentially going to be demolished in the 80s, but luckily it was preserved, so you can still stop in for a scare today. Number 7, Thurmond, West Virginia. Today, the town of Thurmond, West VA is about as isolated as you can get without being completely cut off from civilization, connected to the outside world by one road and one train track. As of 2018, the population of Thurmond, West Virginia was just 5 people. But Thurmond was once a thriving coal mining hub, and much of the town is now preserved as it looked decades ago, with little evidence of modernity.
In the 90s, the Park Service wanted to start kind of like a living, walking museum in the town to capture the old coal mining ambiance of a town that exists here that's kind of lost in other towns.
It was once a stopping point for the Chesapeake and Ohio Railway, but the old depot has been transformed into a visitor center. Taking a trip here is a reminder of how quickly a place can fall from success to become a ghost town. Number 6, Centralia, Pennsylvania. Another town that has very, very few permanent residents is Centralia, Pennsylvania.
Mining towns across America regularly dealt with their trash by using abandoned coal pits as landfills. When full, these would be set on fire, and some believe this could be what triggered Centralia's downfall.
The population of the town left for good reason. A fire has been burning under the city since 1962. No, we don't mean metaphorically. The fire started in an abandoned coal mine and causes toxic gases to leak out. To make matters worse, the fire is expected to burn for many more years. Considering there's a sign around town reading "ground is prone to sudden collapse" and walking or driving in this area could result in serious injury or death, you can imagine the creepy vibe. We don't suspect this town will see a revival anytime soon. Number 5, Kennecott, Alaska. It's likely that you picture abandoned towns existing largely in the south or midwest of the United States, so it's easy to forget about the last frontier. Back at the turn of the 20th century, a pair of prospectors came across a wealth of copper in Kennecott, Alaska, and soon enough, several mines were set up to extract it, ushering in an era of prosperity. By November of 1938, however, the copper had dried up, and the last train left Kennecott, with the town left abandoned. Now, tourists are able to visit the old mines and see what's left of a once wealthy town. Number 4. Bodie, California. Located in Mono County, California, Bodie is one of America's best-known ghost towns because of its compelling history. In 1859, a team of prospectors discovered gold in Bodie, and by 1876, locals had a boomtown on their hands after they started making serious profits from their discovery.
Located high up in the Sierra, Bodie had a similar population to LA in the 1870s, and similarly ambitious dreams, and a lot more gold.
Just a couple of years later, the population of Bodie had ballooned to between 7,000 and 10,000. By 1915, however, after years of falling profits, it had become a ghost town. What makes Bodie so remarkable is how well preserved the buildings are, and how many relics remain within them, seemingly untouched for over a century.
Normally you think of the town of a ghost town, 3 or 4 buildings max, and we have close to 200 structures here in town.
But you definitely get an eerie feeling walking around a place that looks frozen in time. Number 3. Virginia City and Nevada City, Montana. Located about a mile apart in Madison County, Montana, Virginia City and Nevada City each have their own interesting histories. Both were part of the gold rush, with Nevada City known for one of the richest gold strikes in the Rocky Mountain West. Virginia City, on the other hand, was once home to the notorious frontierswoman Calamity Jane. Both towns have buildings standing from the 1800s, and living history shows give visitors a glimpse at the town's pasts. It's easy to let your imagination run free picturing the drama of the Wild West. And when you walk around town, legend has it you can feel the ghosts of those who came before.
Tourists in the area say that paranormal events that take place, whether they hear noises or feel chills, leaves them with a lot of unanswered questions. So more and more people come every year searching.
Number 2. Rhyolite, Nevada. Near the border of Death Valley National Park lies Rhyolite, Nevada, another once prosperous town that's taken a turn for the creepy. The gold rush brought a significant population to the area, which at one point was home to a bustling community that included an opera house and even a stock exchange. But in 1907, financial panic set in, and by 1911, the Montgomery Shoshone mine was closed. The town has now been essentially abandoned for more than a century, with many of the remaining buildings lying in ruin, and all of them empty. Like some of the others on our list, Rhyolite is inevitably haunted by the many who left their fortunes behind here. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Deadwood, South Dakota. The HBO series was set here for a reason.
I don't feel qualified to say.
Crescent City, California. The Battery Point Lighthouse is supposedly haunted. St. Elmo, Colorado. Claims to be one of the most haunted ghost towns in the state. Alton, Illinois. The McPike Mansion draws ghost hunters.
Welcome to the McPike Mansion. The entire house isn't open. It's still under renovation. Nobody's lived in here since the 1950s. But the sub-basement, the root cellar, the wine cellar, it's open. Ooh!
Number 1. Old Cahaba, Alabama. Cahaba was once Alabama's state capital, but over the years it's become better known for its ghostly activity than its political history. The town has taken on the moniker of Alabama's most famous ghost town, and there have long been legends of paranormal activity taking place there. One tells of a mysterious orb seen in the garden maze on the property of C.C. Pegues, which no longer exists. Digital Alabama's Guide to Ghosts and Haunted Places lists many more instances of purported hauntings and creepiness, not merely in Old Cahaba Archaeological Park, but all across the state of Alabama. However, the abandoned and haunted Old Cahaba takes the cake.
We are now going to take a look at tunnels that you should probably admire from afar. Well, you'll see.
Hang on, where are we going? I don't know, but I don't like what's that tunnel up there. Hey, Wonka, I want off! Round the world and home again. That's the sailor's way.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 creepiest tunnels you should avoid.
Thermite. Engine's gone.
This is not good.
All teams, full sweep, eyes on everything.
Turn around.
Turn around!
For this list, we'll be looking at tunnels around the world that are rumored to be haunted or have been abandoned for various reasons.
Number 10, Gold Camp Road Tunnels, Colorado Springs, Colorado. These tunnels start out as a fun experience. The first two are supposedly filled with joyful laughter and the sound of children playing. But as you head down to the third tunnel, those cheerful sounds turn horrific. The same voices begin to scream in agony. Some people have even reported child-sized handprints appearing on their car windows. According to local legend, the third tunnel collapsed on a school bus of children, claiming the lives of everyone on board. The veracity of this story is contested, but regardless, these tunnels are not for the faint of heart. Number 9, Victoria Park, Brisbane. Australia is known for its dangerous wildlife, but that's not all you should be on the lookout for should you choose to visit the city of Brisbane. A limbless green ghost, some say headless, reportedly comes out of the walls of the Victoria Park Tunnel. In the 1960s, it supposedly sent one young boy to the hospital after the entity put him into a trance-like state, with the boy's friends thinking he'd become possessed. Though this is the most famous such incident, it's not the only one. There have been numerous reported sightings throughout the 20th century. Number 8, Sensabaugh Tunnel, Church Hill, Tennessee. Considering local claims that this is a place of evil, we'd recommend taking their advice and staying away. The tunnel is supposedly full of paranormal activity, including demonic apparitions and car engines suddenly dying.
Oh my God! Rory? Is that you?
It is perhaps most infamous, however, for the wailing cries of women and their babies that have been reported over the years. It was said that a resident of Church Hill had killed his entire family, and the creek they were dumped in ran through the tunnel.
I'm not gonna hurt you.
Stay away from me!
Wendy?
Stay away!
Darling? Light of my life. I'm not gonna hurt you. You didn't let me finish my sentence. I said, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in.
This resident's name was Mr. Sensabaugh. Considering the aforementioned issue with car engines, this tunnel is best avoided unless you're confident in your ability to get away on foot. It looks like you won't be able to rely on technology for this one. Number 7, Blue Ghost Tunnel, Ontario, Canada. As the story goes, flooding saw hundreds of bodies dislodged from a graveyard during the construction of this train tunnel. Roughly 2/3 of the bodies were never recovered. As your mind fills with images of bloated, waterlogged, rotting corpses, you're probably nodding in agreement as to why this tunnel made the list.
Eddie, come on! My mom will have an aneurysm, okay? If she finds out that we're playing down here, I'm serious.
If you're brave or foolish enough to enter the structure, you'll find a floor caked with mud and a near-constant dripping sound that echoes off the tunnel walls. Oh, it also gets smaller the further you go. That all combines to make for one seriously creepy atmosphere, but it doesn't explain the bone-chilling cold that permeates the tunnel even during hot summer months. Number 6, Hoosick Tunnel, Western Massachusetts. Sometimes referred to as the Bloody Pit, Hoosick Tunnel certainly lives up to its name. Around 200 people were killed during the construction of the tunnel, with causes ranging from fires all the way to drownings.
Digging began in 1851 and took 22 years, with 200 lives lost along the way.
Workers stopped showing up after supposedly seeing ghostly figures and hearing the pained groans of their fallen friends deep in the tunnel.
Dudley, run!
A local hunter disappeared for 3 days, and when he was found, he said that he'd been led into the tunnel by distant voices. Inside, he was greeted by spectral undead figures roaming the tunnel. This is one place you would not want to venture to alone, with a friend, or at all, really. Number 5, Belkin Tunnel, Switzerland. Belkin Tunnel is said to be home to the mysterious White Woman, a hitchhiker whose pale, ghostly skin and white clothing probably wouldn't make you want to slow down.
Dean, what the hell is going on? Sam!
It's said that if she is picked up, she'll vanish from your vehicle shortly after getting in.
Take me home.
With apparently dozens of police reports describing similar encounters since the 1980s, even the most skeptical people should stay away. If you do decide to ignore our warnings and pick this woman up while driving through the Belkin Tunnel, we hope for your sake that she disappears sooner rather than later. Number 4. Moonville Tunnel, Moonville, Ohio. Imagine being on a late-night walk when you see a light from inside a tunnel up ahead. Or you might spy a young man standing above the tunnel looking down. There's also a chance that your nostrils will fill with the sweet smell of lavender. While none of the aforementioned descriptions sound especially sinister, wait for the context. The light supposedly comes from the lanterns of 2 railroad workers who were killed by trains in Ohio's Moonville Tunnel in the 1800s. The young man was a bully who started fights and met his demise on the train tracks. And the smell of lavender is from a thin, elderly woman who took a fatal fall.
I am Lazarus, come from the dead, come back to tell you all. I shall tell you all, with one settling a pillow by her head.
Number 3. Big Bull Tunnel, Wise County, Virginia. Building tunnels is dangerous work, and in the 19th century, such projects often resulted in accidental deaths. Even so, Big Bull Tunnel feels especially sinister. In addition to the usual body count, it's also got a murder to its name. The haunting can be traced back to 1905, when 2 inspectors reportedly heard a mysterious voice emanating from the brick walls.
Okay, I'm out of here.
What was it saying, you might be wondering? They are drinking my blood. The train tunnel is still in operation today, so there are actually a few solid arguments to avoid taking a stroll through Big Bull. Number 2. Church Hill Tunnel, Richmond, Virginia. We've heard about a lot of ghosts here, so now we think it's time for something different. This tunnel might attract a different form of paranormal expert, namely a vampire hunter. That's right, Virginia's Church Hill Tunnel was supposedly home to the blood-sucking creature of the night.
Can tell the character of a man by the sound of his heartbeat. Usually, when I approach, I can almost dance to the beat.
Upon being discovered, the creature caused the tunnel to collapse, burying 2 workers. When rescuers came, it was said that the creature fled the tunnel, making its home in a new but equally terrifying location, a mausoleum in Richmond's Hollywood Cemetery. Okay, now we're talking about haunted cemeteries, everybody. That's a pretty good reason to keep out. Number 1, the Screaming Tunnel, Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. Known by no other name, the Screaming Tunnel more than earns our number 1 spot. A drainage tunnel since the 1800s, this spooky 125-foot passageway has been giving locals cause for fear as long as anyone can remember. And the story behind it is absolutely tragic.
Is there anything wrong with her? You mean medically? I mean whatever you mean.
There are various conflicting legends, but they all involve a young girl being burned alive. It's her screams that give the tunnel its name. If you light a match in the tunnel, legend has it that the girl's blood-curdling screams will fill the space, and she'll blow out the match.
Hey, wanna play hide and clap?
So, how about we give this tunnel a wide berth and leave her in peace?
Are there entrances to the underworld right here on Earth? Ones that you can visit? Well, watch this.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 entrances to the underworld on Earth you can visit.
On the way there, they will be able to see the beauty of the island that they will be on for the next 3 days.
Hecla was first climbed in 1750 and has been an attraction to travelers and scientists ever since.
But still, on Etna, tourists gather unaware.
Right now we are by 9,000 feet above the sea level, the highest.
For this list, we'll be going over the physical locations in the real world said to connect to the underworld, or other similar or related worlds following physical death, of various mythologies. Number 10, River Acheron, Greece. Located in the Epirus region of northwestern Greece, The river Acheron flows into the Ionian Sea and is a rather short 32 miles long. According to the ancient Greeks and Romans, however, Acheron was one of 5 rivers of the underworld, with some myths connecting it to Hades or Tartarus. Although known as the River of Woe, some legends claim it was capable of cleansing or healing those within it. Still, others personified the river, recounting that Acheron was the son of the sun god Helios, who was transformed into a river after giving water to the Titans. Will the river cleanse you or come to life? There's only one way to find out. Number 9. Mount Osore, Japan. Mount Osore refers to both a Buddhist temple and the active volcano upon which it resides. While it may not have erupted for 10,000 years, its smoky volcanic activity has long led locals to associate it with the underworld. According to folk legends, mediums at the temple are said to be able to contact the souls of the dead. Not only that, but a nearby brook is said to connect to the Sanzu River, a mythical river in the Japanese Buddhist afterlife. If connecting with the other side isn't your cup of tea, though, there's always the hot spring resort. Number 8. Mount Hekla, Iceland. Iceland is a very volcanically active country, and one of its most vocal volcanoes is Mount Hekla. Its first historically recorded eruption was in 1104, and it covered nearly half of the country in debris. This explosive event led observers to refer to the mountain as a gateway to hell.
Hekla was first climbed in 1750 and has been an attraction to travelers and scientists ever since.
The mountain's grim reputation persisted for centuries, with some even mistaking birds seen near Hekla's fires later on as the souls of the dead. Despite, or perhaps because of its connection with the land of the damned, Mount Hekla remains a popular hiking destination. Number 7. Lake Avernus, Italy. Located near the Filigree Fields, a large caldera in southwestern Italy, Lake Avernus is a volcanic crater lake. The Romans, in addition to building temples, bathhouses, and even a naval base in the area, also believed Avernus was an entrance to the underworld. In legends about figures such as Aeneas and Odysseus, Hades could be accessed via portals in and around the lake. Some Roman writers even used Avernus as another word for the underworld itself. And when a lake is synonymous with the land of the dead, well, that's one spooky body of water. Number 6. The Gates of Guinea, Louisiana, USA. According to voodoo beliefs, Guinea is the place where the souls of the dead reside before reuniting with their forebears and is overseen by Loa, Baron Samdzi.
In truth, the gates and their location are a secret, and it isn't even truly known if they're real or imagined, though many claim they exist.
Guinea is said to be accessed through 7 gates, which some practitioners claim are all located in the city of New Orleans, specifically near Canal Street in the French Quarter. The gates are reportedly found in 7 local cemeteries. In order to open the gates, they must be visited in a specific order, and specific offerings must be given to each guardian. Fail to complete the ritual properly, and the spirits will drag you back to the land of the dead with them. Number 5. St. Patrick's Purgatory, Ireland. Although it sounds like a euphemism for a hangover on March 18th, St. Patrick's Purgatory is actually a pilgrimage destination on Station Island in Ireland. The original destination of the pilgrimage was a cave or a cellar, through which it is said that purgatory could be entered.
On the way there, they will be able to see the beauty of the island that they will be on for the next 3 days.
It was supposedly revealed to St. Patrick by God to show doubters how good heaven is and how terrible hell is, by demonstrating the afterlife in between the two. The cave itself has been closed off since the 17th century, but pilgrimages have continued to the present day. Number 4. Hauska Castle, Czech Republic. This Gothic castle is located just outside of Prague in the Czech Republic. According to legend, Hauska was constructed atop a gateway to hell. Its chapel in particular is said to reside directly above the entrance.
We have a prominent writer who stayed here during the end of the 1800s and reported, much like many of the myths say, that he saw winged black creatures flying around this courtyard where we stand right now.
Proponents of this belief cite the fact that Hauska was built without fortifications or a water source and did not reside near any trade routes. Instead, its purpose was to stop demons from escaping the pit beneath the castle. That does admittedly sound rather suspicious.
And the story is that this pit is a gateway to hell, and the reason they built the castle was to keep evil demons and demonic spirits from coming out of the pit into the surrounding land.
Of course, others argue that it simply served an administrative purpose.
Now we're in the lower portion of the castle. This has been nicknamed Satan's office.
Either way, the legend has long drawn occult enthusiasts to Hauska in droves. Number 3, Plutonian at Hierapolis, Turkey. A Plutonian is a term for a place of worship for the Greco-Roman god of the underworld, Pluto, previously called Hades. Sometimes called Pluto's Gate, the Plutonian at Hierapolis, found in modern-day Denizli province in Turkey, is a small chamber.
These ruins in southwest Turkey were once an elaborate temple built around a cave people believed led straight down into the depths of hell.
What connects it to Pluto is that it is located atop a cave that emits carbon dioxide, which would suffocate anything that stayed too long within, leading locals to attribute their deaths to Pluto himself. Animals were often sacrificed in this manner, and priests would perform miracles by entering the religious site by holding their breath or finding pockets of oxygen. Number 2, Fengdu Ghost City, China. Situated on the banks of the Yangtze River, Fengdu Ghost City has been around for about 2,000 years. According to legend, it was founded by 2 officials, Yin Changsheng and Wang Fangping, who practiced Taoism to such a degree that they became immortal. When Yin and Wang are combined, it means King of Hell. Fengdu also features in many classic Chinese legends like Journey to the West. Much of its architecture and statues refer to the underworld, and there are even several representations of the Chinese belief that the dead must pass 3 tests before they can enter the afterlife. Today, the city is a major tourist attraction. There are actually actors there to play the role of the legendary demons who guard the bridge. Before we unveil our spookiest number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions. 7 Gates of Hell, Pennsylvania, USA. Several myths claim gates to hell can be found throughout Hallam Township. Cape Matapan Cave, Greece. Located near ruined Spartan temples, this cave is said to lead to Hades. Aktun Tunichin Muknal Cave, Belize. This supposed entrance to the Mayan underworld contained a calcified skeleton.
Aktun Tunichin Muknal is certainly a very special place to me. I was the first archaeologist to visit that cave. They're portals to the underworld where important gods resided, and we're also seeing human sacrifice.
Mount Etna, Italy. A nearby spring is said to lead to the underworld.
But still, on Etna, tourists gather unaware.
Right now we are by 9,000 feet above the sea level, the highest you can get when you come to Mount Etna. What we're looking at is the southeast crater, the baby. It's the newest, 1971, but it's also considered the most dangerous of all because in this moment it's becoming, how to say, hyperactive.
Candelaria Caves, Guatemala. These gorgeous caves were another entrance to the Mayan afterlife. Number 1, Cave of the Sibyl, Italy. The Cumaean Sibyl was a Greco-Roman priestess devoted to Apollo. The oracle was actually said to reside near Cumae, a Greek colony close to modern Naples, though an alternate location at Baiae has also been suggested. In addition to having the gift of prophecy, the Sibyl was also said to be a guide to the underworld. Her labyrinthine cave was described as having 100 entrances, with one leading to the afterlife. The real cave doesn't have that many ways to get in, though it is quite a distinctive sight that will evoke plenty of awe and mystery. It's certainly one worthy of the legend.
We are going to end things today by uncovering a whopping 50 locations across the globe that earn their terrifying reputations, and then some.
The Eastern State Penitentiary, considered to be one of the most haunted buildings in the world.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the creepiest and most unsettling places in the entire world.
It's so remote, extremely dry, cold conditions. It's just not a great place to be.
Number 50, the Bermuda Triangle, the Atlantic Ocean.
As the losses have piled up, the area has become infamous, legendary worldwide even. Everyone knows about the Bermuda Triangle, but yet nobody knows what's going on over there.
All right, we know that the Bermuda Triangle isn't actually cursed, but the mythology certainly makes an impression, doesn't it? As kids, we were taught to fear the Bermuda Triangle, an area of the Atlantic Ocean that is said to swallow planes and boats through some type of interdimensional portal. There's something, we don't really know. Point is, a lot of people have supposedly gone missing within the triangle thanks to some type of creepy magic. The legend is so pronounced and persistent that many regulatory bodies have conducted studies disproving it. But those 3 words, the Bermuda Triangle, are still enough to send shivers down the spine.
In fact, according to Philippe's records, there are wrecks completely encircling Bermuda.
Number 49, Pyongyang, North Korea.
Well, this is an extremely rare experience inside North Korea. And we've already been warned numerous times that we'll be monitored and critiqued the whole time that we're here.
The capital of North Korea is less living, breathing city and more lifeless movie set. It really is something. Streets are largely devoid of vehicles or pedestrians. Gigantic monuments to dictators dominate the skyline, and propaganda posters litter the walls. Much of Pyongyang also feels curated, as visitors are strictly chaperoned and intensely scrutinized. Then there are the weird buildings, some of which are staged for tourists or just outright empty, like the looming Ryugyong Hotel, which has sat unfinished for decades. Oh, and if you step a toe out of line, you are in deep, deep trouble. Pyongyang is like a ghost town in the unsettling guise of a modern city.
The country is spotlessly clean. There's no graffiti, no street advertising except for state propaganda, and surprisingly, very few cars.
Number 48, the wreck of the Titanic, Atlantic Ocean.
To see the sad ruin of the great ship sitting here, where she landed at 2:30 in the morning of April 15th, 1912, after her long fall from the world above.
If you fear deep water, thalassophobia if you're fancy, then you probably can't even look at the wreck of the Titanic. It lies over 12,000 feet below the Atlantic, and its massive structure just sits there in the dark and silent deep, a rusting underwater graveyard. Its rotting mass is an unbelievably eerie sight, just sitting there in the pitch black. Even worse, human objects like shoes, suitcases, and dishes still sit scattered on the seabed, frozen in time, making the monument feel even more ghostly. And for the more philosophical, there's the uncanny contrast between its contemporary symbol of wealth and its current state of ruin. There's a haunting sadness about the whole thing.
Seeing her coming out of the darkness like a ghost ship still gets me every time.
Number 47, the Australian Outback, Australia.
Australia. It's the only nation to occupy an entire continent. It's the most flat and the second driest place on the planet. And even though it has rainforests, snowfields, and lush garden ecosystems, it's undeniably known best for its deserts, also called the Outback.
It's hard to imagine just how massive the Australian outback actually is. This thing preys on the likes of psychology, fears of the unknown, and base survival instincts, being a vast and barren expanse of nothing. You could show us a picture of the outback and a picture of Mars, and we wouldn't know the difference. It often feels like an endless void where everything looks the same, and with no ambient noise save the likes of rustling brush and distant animal calls, it can feel incredibly uneasy. Giant spiders, venomous snakes, and dingoes prowl the landscape, abandoned villages dot the roads, and then there's the most palpable fear of all, that if something goes wrong, you are truly on your own.
I thought the grass would be greener on the other side, and now I'm in a place that just reeks of death. The grub hunting is lousy, the water's bad, there's no shade. The flies are worse, and there aren't any yabbies at all here to eat.
Number 46, Hiljainen Kansa, Finland. An extremely creepy art installation, Hiljainen Kansa means the silent people, and the name could not be more apt. It's found in the barren region of central Finland, about 30 kilometers outside the village of Suomussalmi. The installation consists of hundreds of scarecrows dressed in human clothes, arranged in rows across a remote field. Just imagine coming across this thing while driving and having no idea it was there. At first glance, the scarecrows resemble a motionless crowd of people, which can feel especially creepy in foggy weather or the dark. Visitors often describe the scene as if the figures are silently watching them, or perhaps waiting for something unknown. Number 45, Tol Slang, Cambodia.
Painful reminders of Cambodia's genocide during the late 1970s are not hard to find in the country's capital. Here in Phnom Penh, one of the most heinous crimes perpetrated by the Khmer Rouge regime is on display.
Nestled inside Phnom Penh is the Tol Slang Museum, or as it was once called, Security Prison 21. Once a secondary school, the building was converted into a detention center under the Khmer Rouge regime in the mid-1970s. Between 1975 and 1979, thousands of men, women, and children were imprisoned here, and the building now stands as a sober reminder of the country's dark past. The rooms still bear the likes of iron bed frames, shackles, and even bloodstains, and the walls are lined with chilling photographs of past prisoners, their expressions ranging from abject fear to reluctant resignation. Walking its sordid halls is an experience unlike any other.
Classrooms were turned into cells in Tuol Sleng prison. The Memory and Justice Centre estimates more than 18,000 people were killed over the period of 4 years. Many of them appearing in these photographs are still documented as missing.
Number 44, Whittier, Alaska, the United States of America.
We are in the Whittier Community School. It is connected by an underground tunnel to the building that we all live in.
Wandering into the Alaskan town of Whittier is like wandering into another dimension. Found nearly 60 miles southeast of Anchorage, Whittier feels insanely creepy because almost the entire population lives inside a single building, the Bagich Towers, a stark concrete structure that looms over the otherwise desolate town. Inside the towers, residents share not only apartments but essentials like a grocery store and post office, creating an uncanny all-in-one environment that may come across as unsettling to outsiders. And surrounded by foggy mountains and accessible by just one tunnel, the dark and isolated setting only adds to its eerie atmosphere. The empty streets and looming presence of one singular building where everyone lives can feel like something out of a nightmare.
You know, the tunnel creates its own sort of isolation in that it closes every night at 10:30.
Trying to explain to visitors or people who aren't from there, like, no, we really have to go. If we don't go, we're not going to get into Whittier right now. Like, we need to go. It is an interesting, strange place to live, but it's also full of love and full of adventure and some really cool people.
Number 43, Eastern State Penitentiary, the United States of America.
Well, there was a metal door on the inside and a wooden door on the outside. So the metal door would have swung closed, and the sliding wooden door keeps them from talking across the hall.
That would drive you insane. That would make you go crazy.
That's what happened.
There's nothing like a giant rotting prison to get the blood pumping. Opened in 1829, the famous Philadelphia prison was one of the first to use solitary confinement as punishment, leaving behind stories of suffering and psychological torment. Naturally, this has led to its now famous reputation as a haunted prison. But even if you don't believe in ghosts, there's still plenty to find spooky about Eastern State. The imposing stone walls, crumbling cell blocks, and rusting iron doors create a palpably eerie feeling, and visitors are often left unsettled by its long and silent corridors. It's one thing to see it on TV. It's something else to walk through its hallowed and probably haunted halls. Eastern State stands as a decayed relic of a barbaric past.
Eastern State's often known as the world's first true penitentiary, and what that means is a building designed to inspire regret. And a big part of how the prison officials did that was, again, through architecture. The outside of the building resembles a Gothic castle. It's scary, it's intimidating.
Number 42, Skull Tower, Serbia.
No. A girl is not ready to become no one. But she's ready to become someone else.
You know those giant pillars of faces in Game of Thrones? Well, that's kind of a real thing. We're talking about Serbia's Cele Kula, or Skull Tower. Constructed in 1809 by the Ottoman Empire after the Battle of Chegar, the tower was made with the skulls of Serbian rebels who died in the skirmish. 952 skulls were originally embedded into the structure's walls as a brutal warning to discourage further uprisings. Today, only about 50 skulls remain, but they still have the power to provoke complete and utter fear. The sight of real human remains stacked together in a giant wall is obviously unsettling, but beyond its physical appearance, the tower serves as a chilling symbol of conquest. Yeah, it's pretty darn creepy. Number 41, Edinburgh Castle, Scotland.
Edinburgh Castle sits on a volcanic plug called Castle Rock that towers over the Scottish capital. It's one of the most visited historical attractions in Scotland, and it's a site that neither locals nor visitors can get enough of.
Take a trip over to Europe and you'll find buildings older than some countries. That is certainly the case with Edinburgh Castle, which dates back to the 11th century. The fortress has witnessed centuries of bloodshed and executions, and prisoners were once held in its dank dungeons, where cramped cells and iron chains left lasting marks, and maybe some ghosts. The castle is world-renowned for its ghost haunts and historic tours, with tales of violence abounding. But even ignoring its dark history, Edinburgh Castle is an imposing beast, a dark stone fortress perched mightily atop Castle Rock and overlooking the ancient city that it protects. It's just begging you to attack it.
You know, no matter where you are in Edinburgh, there's the castle. You know, you can see it as you're sort of walking in between the neighborhoods and between the streets and between the buildings. You know, you see it sort of almost sort of following you around.
Number 40, the Amazon rainforest, South America.
Except for the snaking waters of the Las Piedras River, these rainforest treetops stretch unbroken for hundreds of miles.
If you want to experience true wilderness, look no further than the Amazon rainforest, an endless expanse of trees and rivers. It reminds us of a bygone era. The towering trees are incredibly dense, and often to the point of blocking out sunlight and creating an oppressive atmosphere. It's also alive with constant sounds, whether it's distant animals, buzzing insects, and rustles from its countless venomous and dangerous inhabitants. The unknown plays a large role too. Scientists estimate that millions of species remain undiscovered within its borders, and entire regions are still unexplored. Add in the legends of lost civilizations and spirits, and you've got one seriously otherworldly place. And you thought the woods next to your house were creepy.
The clock is ticking for those mysteries that still remain hidden within the trees, because such wild places could soon be worlds of fiction.
Number 39, Area 51, the United States of America.
Groom Lake is the Area 51 region in Nevada. When Area 51 was just bare bones, they took the craft and the aliens out to that location in the middle of the Nevada desert because it was so remote.
Countless myths, stories, legends, tales, whatever you want to call them, have been made about Area 51. The alien capital of America, the secret base is said to be closely associated with ufology, either housing aliens, conducting otherworldly experiments, reverse engineering UFOs, or whatever else. But even without the folklore, Area 51 is one creepy place. Such is often the case with restricted areas and forbidden access. Deeply hidden in the Nevada desert, surrounded by threatening signs and armed patrols, and with its secret operations being strictly classified and hidden from public view, Area 51 fuels the imagination like no other place on Earth.
Now, while you were working there, did you ever see anything weird up in the sky?
Oh, absolutely. Planes that no one else has ever seen. They had no wings, just flying bathtub. You see something like that, it looks just like a flying saucer.
Number 38, the Black Forest, Germany.
Dense evergreen forests, over 6,000 kilometers of natural landscapes and picturesque villages. Welcome to the Black Forest of Germany.
Schwarzwald, or the Black Forest, has long been renowned for its eerie, almost otherworldly atmosphere. Its dense canopy of towering evergreens blocks much of the sunlight, leaving the forest floor in deep shadows even at high noon. Mist often lingers between the trees, adding a beautiful but undeniably mystical quality. Local folklore only amplifies this feeling. Centuries of German fairy tales place witches and monsters within its trees, and the scattered, abandoned medieval settlements give off a bygone storybook atmosphere, like the characters could have lived there at one point in time. This mixture of natural gloom and mythic storytelling makes the Black Forest a place where the boundary between reality and legend constantly feels blurred. Don't explore it alone.
I be the witch of the wood. Liar, liar. I am.
Listen not to her, Mercy.
I am that very witch. When I sleep, my spirit slips away from my body and dances naked with the devil.
Number 37, North Sentinel Island, the Bay of Bengal.
Various tribal groups of Andamanese on the islands. The Sentinelese, they're the last ones who resist contact.
Nestled in the Bay of Bengal is North Sentinel Island, which is one of the last places on Earth untouched by modern civilization. The island is home to the Sentinelese, a voluntarily isolated tribe that has resisted all outside contact for centuries. Attempts to approach are met with fierce hostility, with arrows and spears often shot at outsiders and their vehicles. People have actually died attempting to contact this tribe and reach the island's prohibited shores. And as almost nothing is known about the tribe's language or culture, the mystery only deepens. It is a forbidden place where humanity's ancient past still thrives, untouched and fiercely protected.
An American man has been killed by members of a protected tribe in the Andaman Islands. John Allen Chow was a Christian missionary. He was killed with bows and arrows and his body left on the beach.
Number 36, Yulchin, Russia. It's amazing how fast a city's fortunes can turn. In 1989, Yulchin, near the northeastern peak of Russia, was a mining hub housing over 5,000 people. By 1995, it was a ghost town. Yulchin was liquidated shortly after the dissolution of the Soviet Union, and its residents abandoned the settlement almost overnight, leaving behind schools, apartments, machinery, and personal belongings literally frozen in time. The isolation, combined with the crumbling Soviet-era architecture and snow-covered ruins, creates a post-apocalyptic atmosphere you have to see to believe. There were even reports that the town's utilities were shut off before all of the residents could move out, leaving them stranded in the harsh Arctic tundra. Number 35, the Kola Super Deep Borehole, Russia.
The borehole beat the world record in 1979. It was almost 40,000 feet below the surface, which is an amazingly deep distance when you think about it. The Marianas Trench, which is the deepest place in the ocean, is not even near that deep.
What is the Kola Super Deep Borehole, you may ask? Well, it's a hole. It's super deep, and it's in Russia. Back in the 1970s, the Soviet Union thought, how deep into the Earth can we drill? And conducted the experiment. By 1989, they had gone over 40,000 feet into the planet's crust, making the deepest human-made hole ever made. It's freaky more in theory than practice. Knowing that there's a hole that goes 40,000 feet down is just brain-breaking. That's airplane cruising altitude. That's 11,000 feet more than Mount Everest. That's 15 Burj Khalifas. Even the site itself is quite creepy these days. While the hole has been welded shut, the surrounding building has fallen into significant disrepair.
Concrete buildings laid derelict with twisted wreckage, smashed and scattered equipment. And at the center of it, one building looks like it's been ripped apart.
Number 34, Lake Lanier, the United States of America.
Even though there was a lot of people around, there was just some strange vibe about the lake. I feel it's a majestic body of water, but you can't deny that there's something odd about Lake Lanier.
On the surface, Georgia's Lake Lanier is just another body of water, but look a little deeper, literally, and you'll see something truly creepy. Before the 1950s, the surrounding area was just everyday farmland and housed multiple small towns, including Oscarville. But the rapid growth of nearby Atlanta necessitated more water, so the Army Corps constructed Lake Lanier. In the process, they evacuated and then completely flooded these small towns, and without demolishing them first. So laying underneath the surface of the water are the skeletal remains of homes, roads, and businesses. Many locals now believe that Lanier is haunted, the ghostly hands pulling swimmers down to join their watery graves.
Also beneath the surface, old homes, barns, even a racetrack, which famously surfaced during the 2007 drought. You could see the tops of the stands, a haunted memory, waiting for spectators to show up for the next race.
Number 33, Weston State Hospital, the United States of America.
The grand old dame still stands.
So are you ready to go inside?
It's going to be very emotional to do this.
Drive through central West Virginia and you won't find much of note, but nestled within the endless trees is the small town of Weston, and there you will find one of the most gorgeous buildings in America, also one of the scariest. It's Weston State Hospital, which housed patients for over a century between 1864 and 1994. The building's old Gothic architecture is incredibly imposing, striking both awe and fear before you even step foot through its doors. The place also has a dark history of mental health treatment, including overcrowding, filthy conditions, and electroshock therapy, contributing to its reputation as one of America's most haunted buildings. Since closing in 1994, much of the hospital has fallen into significant disrepair, further contributing to its ghostly aura.
Can you show yourself one more time? Did I just see you up here? Were you at the end of this hallway right here?
Number 32, Auschwitz, Poland.
Today I'm in Auschwitz-Birkenau, the largest Nazi extermination camp.
Between 1940 and 1945, at least 1.1 million people were murdered here.
The scale of suffering and death that occurred at Auschwitz is just unimaginable. With about 1 million people murdered there, the aura of misery within its walls is palpable. But even if you had no idea of the camp's history, you would still find this place more than a little off. The camp's physical structures are cold and utilitarian. It is hauntingly quiet, and the likes of barbed wire, barracks, and watchtowers give off a clear prison-like atmosphere. And of course, there are the human artifacts left behind, including the likes of shoes, glasses, and suitcases with names still written on them, their owners long gone. Auschwitz is simultaneously an ordinary set of buildings and one of the most horrifying places in human history.
The gas chamber in the main camp is still preserved. It's unimaginable. Here, in this room, thousands of people suffocated in agony.
Number 31, the death zone, Mount Everest.
You can get retinal hemorrhages, you can have mini strokes, cerebral edema and pulmonary edema, where you have fluid leaking into your lungs and slowly, effectively drowning you.
The death zone refers to the areas of a mountain that go above 8,000 meters or 26,200 feet. At those altitudes, a sense of severe isolation begins to set in. Oxygen deprivation causes disorientation and hallucinations, and many climbers report feeling a surreal, almost dreamlike atmosphere in an alien landscape. That's scary enough, but Everest's death zone has multiple meanings. You see, climbers who have died in the death zone remain there to this day, as rescue in those horrid conditions is extremely difficult and dangerous. As such, they still litter the path up, their frozen corpses and bright fluorescent clothing often serving as waypoints for other climbers.
Because of the effects of global warming, the bodies are becoming more visible as the snow cover thins. This trip, we brought back 11,000 kilograms of trash and 5 bodies.
Number 30, the Overton Bridge, Scotland. It's hard to believe that such a beautiful location could have such a dark history. Completed in the mid-1890s, the Overton Bridge in West Bartonshire, Scotland operated smoothly for decades, until a strange phenomenon started occurring. Several dogs began leaping from the structure to their own demise, which eventually earned it the nickname the Bridge of Death.
It was a normal Sunday afternoon, beautiful day, and it just leapt right over the bridge.
One occurrence is tragic enough, but theories started flying once the incidents became semi-regular. Some locals speculate that the scents of nearby animals may be luring the canines to jump, while others believe that something more supernatural is at play. Regardless of the cause, we recommend keeping your pooch on a short leash if you choose to walk this path.
According to some reports, over 50 dogs in 50 years have jumped from the side of the Overton Bridge.
Number 29, the Hanging Coffins, the Philippines.
Hanging coffins is a traditional way of burial here in Sagada. It's been practiced for about 400 to 500 years.
Burial practices vary widely across societies all over the globe. While some choose to bury or cremate their dead, others embrace more unconventional methods. The rituals in Sagada, Philippines have been taking place for thousands of years. Elderly members carve out their coffins, and when they pass, they're added to a rock wall filled with other suspended sarcophagi.
Apart from protecting the living, it is also believed that the vertical burial brings the dead closer to their ancestral spirits in heaven and makes them one with nature.
The result is visually unsettling yet breathtaking, serving as a poignant reminder of the brevity of life and how one can be celebrated even after dying. While this practice isn't carried out for everyone, it remains a staple in the culture. It's undeniably unique, but it's still chilling to see an individual's final resting place in such a precarious position. Number 28, El Caminito del Rey, Spain.
The world's most dangerous path, the world's most treacherous, the world's most deadly.
This is perfect for the adrenaline junkies in your life. Hiking is a physically strenuous activity, even on the most well-preserved trails. Things get even harder when the walkway is crumbling to pieces. El Caminito del Rey, a passage along the side of a gorge in Malaga, Spain, was built in the 1900s and began to fall apart less than a century later. But that did not deter adventurers from attempting to cross it. Some sections had completely broken off, causing hikers to jump over large gaps. The trail was so dangerous that several deaths occurred over time. While it has since reopened with new safety measures, we still wouldn't recommend this trek, especially if you're scared of heights.
Just when you think it can't get any scarier, at the highest point of the trail, there's a glass-bottomed viewing platform.
Number 27, Christ of the Abyss, Italy. There are a few different versions of this sculpture around the globe, but for this list, we're focusing on the Italian original. The statue was sculpted by Guido Galletti and placed in the Mediterranean Sea in 1954, where it has since become a popular attraction for both sightseers and divers. The piece depicts Jesus Christ with his hands lifted up in a sign of peace. While it's undeniably beautiful, there's also something haunting about it. The effect is heightened by its unusual placement underwater, as well as its proximity to the location where an Italian diver had unfortunately drowned. The fact that it can be viewed in reverence or discomfort is proof of how effective the art is. Number 26. Bangalore Fort, India. There are plenty of fables behind the older sites found on Earth, and this is no exception.
So there are branches that shake, there are leaves that rustle, and it definitely creates a very spooky kind of a voice.
Bangalore Fort was constructed in 1573 and had a small town within it. Even today, there are still remnants of temples and palaces within its walls. There are several legends behind this fort and how it came to fall. One tells the tale of a holy man who believed his home should be the tallest, lest it lead to the village's destruction. Another suggests a priest used black magic to curse the town after a princess accidentally killed him while denying his advances.
Things didn't work out, and then there was a curse that the tantric actually put on the people there, and he ensured that that place gets into ruins.
While these stories obviously have not been corroborated, they're still the closest thing to an explanation as to how this formidable citadel fell. Number 25. Hoia Baciu Forest, Romania. As if Transylvania wasn't frightening enough already. Besides being the home of some iconic fictional monsters, it's also home to the very real Hoia Baciu Forest.
We went there, and there's a little circle in the middle of the forest where no vegetation grows, no trees, and that circle is said to be a portal to the spirit world.
It's considered to be the world's most haunted woodland, which has only added to its creepy allure over the years. With the eerie, almost unnatural curved trees and general ominous vibe, it's no wonder it's gotten such an intense reputation. Some visitors have reported experiencing strange symptoms after visiting, including nausea and paranoia. While there isn't any concrete evidence of ghosts in the area, that hasn't affected its standing among lovers of the paranormal.
You can hear like a there's like a sub-frequency noise. I hear this with my own ears and I'm just paralyzed. I'm staring in the woods. I don't know what's going on.
The woods are so visually strange that you'll feel uncomfortable even if you don't see any specter. Number 24. The Catacombs of Paris, France.
Just below the surface of the City of Light lurks a mysterious darkness.
Much like Sagada in the Philippines, Paris also had an unorthodox way of honoring their dead. The massive underground ossuary known as the Catacombs extends across the city and houses the remains of over 6 million people. It was created to store those who couldn't fit in cemeteries, preserving them in a striking yet unnerving manner.
In the Parisian catacombs, very often bones have been rearranged, made into even sculptural sort of forms. In many ways, this conflicts with that Christian idea of keeping the body together.
Here, the remains of all, from commoners to aristocrats, were laid to rest. Originally a place for novelty shows, it eventually morphed into the macabre attraction it is today. The renovators spared no effort in maximizing the creep factor with menacing signs and a room full of deformed skulls. Everything about this landmark makes for a stomach-turning tour that you'll never forget. Number 23. The Cecil Hotel, USA.
The Cecil was a very deceiving hotel. There's a lot of beauty to it, but it was the complete opposite.
It's the Heartbreak Hotel, but not because relationships have ended here. Now known as Stay on Main, this once lavish location became the source of countless catastrophes throughout the 20th and 21st centuries. Within its walls, several lives have been ended, which have overshadowed any potential positive aspects. Even more, some notorious serial killers, including Richard Ramirez, once made the establishment their temporary residence. Among the most recent tragedies was the 2013 case of Elisa Lam, a young woman who mysteriously died shortly after she was filmed in the hotel's elevator.
She exits to the left of the elevator, and then all of a sudden she's gone.
It was later converted into low-income housing, but it remained plagued by various issues. As of 2024, the property is up for sale, and it's unsure what its future will hold.
For some reason, that hotel had some extra bit of insanity. going on within those walls.
Number 22, the Tower of London, England.
For almost 1,000 years, this revered landmark has been at the center of the grand drama that is English history.
Not only is it one of the oldest buildings in England, it's also supposedly one of the most haunted. Erected in 1066, the Tower of London initially started as a symbol of an oppressive government. It underwent various transformations over the years, with the most famous iteration being a prison and execution chamber.
The tower was witness to bloody deeds, terrible torment, and unbearable suffering.
One of the most ghastly incidents was the alleged murder of 2 young princes. This, along with other unsavory happenings, helped shape its reputation among locals and visitors. It's said that these victims, along with other famous historical figures, haunt it to this day. While there is no official evidence, numerous first-hand accounts from both employees and tourists describe ghostly activity.
As the ancient stage for dramas of cruelty, ambition, and revenge, the tower is said to be the most haunted castle in England.
Number 21, the Hill of Crosses, Lithuania. While it's intended to be a place of remembrance, its disturbing nature and the sheer amount of offerings have made it into an unintentionally terrifying place.
The tradition of leaving crosses began in 1831 to commemorate those who had fallen in a rebellion against Russia.
This field, located in Lithuania, is filled with crosses and other Catholic memorabilia. The exact amount of effigies isn't known, but the number exceeded 100,000 in 2006, so you can only imagine how many more there are now. The site was nearly destroyed during Soviet occupation by the KGB, who deemed it a contradiction to their beliefs. Despite their efforts, the site endured, serving not only as a religious and political piece, but also as a reminder of the indomitable human spirit. Number 20, the Edinburgh Vaults, Scotland. Inside the arches of South Bridge, built across a valley in Scotland's capital city in the 1780s, are dark, damp chambers once used as taverns, workshops, and storage spaces for the business above. However, once the businesses left, Edinburgh's poorest residents moved into the vaults, and they became dens of illegal activity, even being used by body snatchers. Eventually, the vaults were closed down and forgotten about for over a century. Today, organized tours take visitors through the chambers, but they should still beware the malevolent spirits that supposedly roam the halls. Number 19, the Great Blue Hole, Belize. Belize's Great Blue Hole isn't the only marine sinkhole in the world, but it is the largest, at 1,000 feet wide and over 400 feet deep. Several divers have become lost and died inside it. In fact, a 2019 expedition to the bottom discovered 2 bodies of long-lost divers. Not only is the hole dangerous to inexperienced divers, but also to the sea life around it. The bottom is so full of hydrogen sulfide that life can't survive inside for long. Unfortunately, many reef-dwelling crabs learned that lesson firsthand. Number 18, Montpelier Hill, also known as the Hellfire Club, Ireland. A sinister, derelict building stands at the top of Montpelier Hill near Dublin, Ireland. This foreboding location was once the hunting lodge home to one branch of the infamous Hellfire Club. Hellfire clubs existed across the British Isles as bases for societal elites in the 1700s to engage in all kinds of debauched and potentially even violent practices. The organization remains somewhat mysterious to this day thanks to the secrecy surrounding it. So it's not clear exactly what happened during its meetings. But while we don't know whether the darkest tales of horrifying rituals are true or not, it's been said that this Hellfire Club spot supposedly hosts a number of spirits. Number 17, Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary, USA. For 30 years, Alcatraz was an ominous presence on a lonely island in the middle of the San Francisco Bay. Since it was in a relatively isolated position, it was frequently cited as totally inescapable.
Is it true no one's ever bust out of here? So they tell me.
And although 3 people notably did escape in 1962, they were never seen again after leaving the island.
After squeezing through this cement wall, they climbed up a network of pipes and plumbing before they made it here to the roof.
Even while it was still in use, Alcatraz was a dangerous, decaying place. Its prisoners were often mistreated since it was designed to feel as hostile as possible. Though it's been shuttered for far longer than it was ever in operation, that hostile atmosphere persists. Today, you can tour the prison and experience its horrors, and many alleged ghosts, for yourself.
Damn it, Morris, I said get up!
Christ!
Number 16. Loftus Hall, Ireland. It's been named the most haunted house in Ireland for a scarily good reason. Located in County Wexford, its most famous ghost story involves a visit from the devil himself. He apparently arrived one evening to play cards until his identity was revealed.
The dark stranger had kicked off his shoes, and instead of regular feet there, he had cloven hooves.
Satan supposedly flew up through the ceiling and left a hole that remains today. For about a decade, Loftus Hall was open to brave souls who wanted to go on a ghost tour. There were even overnight stays offered for anybody desperate enough to test their mettle. In 2020, it was put on sale for a hefty sum of around $3 million. Now it waits for a new owner to purchase its hallowed halls. Number 15. Hauschka Castle, the Czech Republic. This creepy castle has long been rumored to be built over an actual entrance to hell. Naturally, this has given the castle a nearly unmatched reputation for supernatural entities. You'll find it just outside Prague, open to all visitors brave enough to enter. It was built around 800 years ago and has been home to many royals and nobles over the centuries. The so-called Gateway to Hell is an enormous, supposedly bottomless pit that the castle was constructed over the top of. The pit was deemed so horrific that, according to legends, prisoners were sent to investigate it and returned with stories of indescribable horrors. Number 14. The Stanley Hotel, USA. Master of horror Stephen King stayed in this hotel in 1974 when he and his wife were the only guests in the entire place. This spooky atmosphere served as the inspiration for The Shining, the novel that was later adapted to film and became one of Stanley Kubrick's scariest movies.
I want you to like it here. I wish we could stay here forever and ever.
Just knowing that the Stanley was the inspiration behind the Overlook Hotel will send a chill down your spine. Located in the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, the hotel is supposedly haunted by numerous ghosts.
Jack, there's someone else in the hotel with us. There's a crazy woman in one of the rooms. She tried to strangle Danny.
It's become a prime destination for paranormal tourism since the book was released. Stay the night at the Stanley, if you dare.
Is this a haunted hotel?
I do think it's very active. Everyone has their own experiences, but you'll have to come here to experience it for yourself.
Number 13. Poveglia Island, Italy. Known as one of the most haunted spots in Europe, Poveglia Island has a long and gruesome history that dates back centuries. It first began to gain its reputation in the late 18th century when it was used to quarantine victims of various diseases. It's reported that over 100,000 people passed away and were buried and/or cremated on the island. To make matters creepier, an asylum was constructed there in the 20th century. While Poveglia is closed to visitors today, the derelict asylum still stands. The Venetian government has been looking for someone to redevelop it, but nobody has yet been bold enough to sign the lease. Number 12. Bran Castle, Romania.
Help me.
Long before the Stanley Hotel inspired a horror legend, Bran Castle may have inspired another scary icon.
You are now inside the most popular and famous tourist attraction in Romania.
Located in Transylvania, Romania, Bran Castle has built an entire business around the claim that it was the basis of Bram Stoker's Dracula. While there isn't actually much evidence for this, or the claim that Vlad the Impaler stayed there, it still can be a terrifying destination. Many deaths occurred within the castle walls due to its use as a hospital in the Second World War. Whether you believe Bran Castle was the true home of Count Dracula or not, it's still an impressive and intimidating fortress right in the heart of vampire country. Number 11. Sedlec Ossuary, the Czech Republic. On the outside, the Czech Republic's Cemetery of All Saints seems like any other quaint small-town cemetery. But underneath, it looks like a serial killer's lair.
In a small town outside Prague, there is a church adorned with the skeletons of at least 40,000 people. Assembled in the 1800s, each bone was stacked by a single woodcarver. The bones are of people who wanted to be buried on holy land, and this peaceful chapel is their final resting place.
The Sedlec Ossuary is located below the Cemetery of All Saints in Sedlec, Czech Republic, and it contains the skeletons of up to 70,000 people. The bones are artistically arranged to form various attractions and furnishings, including a chandelier composed of every bone in the human body. The area has been a desirable burial site since the 13th century, and it contains many victims of the Black Death and Hussite Wars.
These bones had to go somewhere, and so the people doing the work started stacking them in the basement in this chapel. And here they stayed for nearly half a millennium.
The ossuary itself was built around 1400 to house the bones of those buried on the property in mass graves. Number 10. Aokigahara Forest, Japan. This woodland in Japan has an extremely distressing reputation. It's widely known as a place where people frequently take their own lives.
あそこに1台、数ヶ月前から置きっぱなしの車がありますんで。
In an attempt to combat this disturbing trend, the local authorities have put up messages encouraging people to think again about what they intend to do. Dozens of people each year sadly lose their lives when they journey into these woods. However, it's never been entirely clear why the forest has seen so much tragedy.
食べ物なんかあるんですか？
あります。
あ、そうですか。
どうもすみません。
いえいえ。変な気を起こしてんじゃなければね。
Many people believe that it may have roots in Japanese folklore. While the forest itself is beautiful, the history of what's happened there is decidedly dark. Number 9. Chillingham Castle, England. The suitably named Chillingham Castle is certainly chilling, all right.
Is it haunted? I've heard that it's haunted.
I mean, the whole castle is wonderfully haunted, and we're very happy with it, and they're happy with us.
So you're not at all bothered by the ghosts,
No, we're not.
supposed ghosts that are here?
They're not supposed, they're all for real.
Located in northern Northumberland, this medieval castle dates back to the 12th century, when it served as a monastery. It was even visited by King Edward I of England in the late 13th century, when he was traveling to fight William Wallace. It's said to be the most haunted castle in all of Britain, known primarily for its resident Blue Boy.
Am I right in saying this, that he was supposed to be buried alive in the walls?
Guests would supposedly hear a loud wailing noise and witness a blue halo floating above their beds. However, the hauntings have reportedly stopped after renovation work uncovered the bones of a young boy buried within the walls.
I'm behind the wall. That man was locked here with me. He was locked here with me. I didn't want him here.
Number 8. Snake Island, Brazil. You can probably guess what occupies Snake Island. Ilha da Queimada Grande is a small 106-acre island located off the southeastern corner of Brazil. It's inhabited by untold number of snakes, who became trapped on the island once rising sea levels cut it off from the mainland. It remains the only place on Earth to host the endangered golden lancehead, a highly venomous pit viper that devours birds.
And when showers roll in, birds dive under the canopy of the forest, looking for shelter.
It's estimated that up to 4,000 golden lanceheads reside on the island. Snake Island cannot be visited by citizens, both to protect the endangered snakes from prying eyes and the humans from becoming snake victims. The only people allowed there are select researchers and members of the Brazilian Navy. Number 7. Yungas Road, Bolivia. Health and safety? Psha. Yungas Road is located in Bolivia, linking the city of La Paz to the greater Yungas region.
Del camino de mulas al camino de automóviles.
Chillingly nicknamed the Road of Death, Yungas Road was famous for its complete lack of safety precautions. The road itself is very thin, which doesn't allow for many mistakes. There are no guardrails, the slopes are steep, and the area is regularly hit by heavy rain and fog cover, making travel an extremely dangerous expedition.
God almighty, that is high.
A new road has been built for driving, but Yungas remains a popular tourist destination owing to its stellar mountain biking, even though 18 cyclists have died on the route since 1998.
Todos los días es diferente. Tenemos lluvia, nieve, a veces todas las estaciones en un solo día.
Number 6. Catacombe de Cappuccini, Italy. Forget the Paris catacombs. These catacombs, located in Palermo, Sicily, originated in the 16th century when monks excavated crypts below the overpopulated Capuchin monastery.
A crypt was created for the wealthiest priest by the archpriest of the time.
That's him. Is Giovanni Scalenza, quite rich person, very important.
It soon became a status symbol to be buried within the Capuchin catacombs, and it was maintained through donations paid by the rich relatives of the entombed. It's estimated that the catacombs contain 8,000 corpses and 1,252 mummies, all of which are visible to the public and even set in various poses.
Was sealed for 8 months while the corpses drained.
Then they were washed with vinegar and stuffed with straw. Finally, they were dressed in their clothes and placed in the corridors of the catacombs.
Each of the bodies are categorized into different sections of the catacombs, including men, women, and children. The catacombs are also famous for hosting Rosalia Lombardo, a 1-year-old child whose preserved body remains in exceptional condition.
The catacombs received their most cherished saint in 1920, when the body of a little girl was brought in by her family. She had been mummified by a secret process which to this day remains a mystery even to the Capuchin monks.
Number 5. The Door to Hell, Turkmenistan. Turns out the door to hell exists, and it's located in Turkmenistan.
I was looking down, I was looking around, and it looked like a doorway to hell.
The village of Dervaza is home to the Darvaza gas crater, which was unintentionally created in 1971 while Soviet engineers were drilling for oil. Fearing the release of dangerous methane gas, the engineers decided to light the crater on fire in the hopes of burning off the methane. The crater has continued to burn throughout the decades and shows no signs of slowing down. So now, in the middle of the catacomb desert, there is a 100-foot deep crater that is persistently on fire. Naturally, the site is off-limits to both tourists and almost all documentarians. You wouldn't want to get pulled into hell, would you?
Because if you're gonna go dine with the devil, you might as well make some s'mores too, right?
Number 4. Bielitz-Heilstätten, Germany. Abandoned and deteriorating hospitals are inherently creepy places, never mind one with such a rich and disturbing history.
What is it exactly that you are looking for?
I had a problem with my tooth.
What tooth?
Actually, it's feeling much better if you could just point me in the direction of my room.
Located in Bielitz, Germany, this large hospital complex encompasses around 60 different buildings. The hospital was originally used as a tuberculosis sanatorium before it was converted to a war hospital. During World War I, it housed injured soldiers of the Imperial German Army, including Adolf Hitler after he was wounded at the Battle of the Somme. It was later occupied by the Red Army throughout World War II and remained a Soviet military hospital well into the 90s. Most of the complex is now a derelict ghost town, having been completely abandoned in 1994.
Do you know what the cure for the human condition is? Disease.
Number 3. Centralia, USA.
50 years ago, when coal was king, Centralia, Pennsylvania was a boom town. People were optimistic, jobs were plentiful, and the future seemed bright.
There's an area of Pennsylvania that has essentially been on fire since 1962. In the early 60s, Centralia hosted roughly 1,500 residents, but the area suffered a horrific coal mine fire that is estimated to keep burning for another 250 years.
Regardless of how it happened, this fire quickly grew out of control. Remember, this wasn't just a small shaft, too. The coal mines in the area were all interconnected, and it was an enormous labyrinth under the town of Centralia.
The major detrimental effects weren't really known until 1981, when a sinkhole randomly opened and nearly killed a 12-year-old boy. The government bought out most of the residents and had them relocated, leaving just 63 people by 1990. Today, the town hosts under a dozen citizens, and various signs are littered throughout the area warning of sudden ground collapse and fatal levels of carbon monoxide. A graffiti highway that became a destination spot in the area has been paved over as of 2020.
The former ruins of Highway 61 remain, now known as the Graffiti Highway, literally covered with spray paint dating back to the 70s and 80s.
Number 2. The Island of the Dolls, Mexico. Turns out there are many areas throughout the world populated by dolls. There's a village in Japan called Nagoro, which has become a famous tourist attraction due to its countless life-size dolls.
It takes 2 days to prepare and make each scarecrow, and now there are 350 of these mannequins, way outnumbering the 10 villagers left here.
But perhaps the freakiest of all is Mexico City's La Isla de las Muñecas, which is located in the canals of Xochimilco. The island contains hundreds of dolls, most of which are hung from the trees.
It looks like a scene from a horror movie. Hundreds of dolls strung up and hanging from trees.
Legend states that the spirit of a young girl haunted the island, forcing its owner to hang dolls from the trees to appease her ghost.
He found the dolls in the canals and in the trash. He started hanging them up to protect him and to try to scare away the spirit of the girl.
The owner passed away in 2001, and the island became a popular tourist destination, even though some locals refused to go there owing to superstition. Number 1. Pripyat, Ukraine.
Уважаемые товарищи, городской совет народных депутатов сообщает, что в связи с аварией на Чернобыльской атомной электростанции в городе Припяти складывается неблагоприятная радиационная обстановка.
Now here's a ghost town. Pripyat is what was called a nuclear city, housing the employees of the nearby Chernobyl nuclear power plant. It was the home of thousands of citizens until the power plant famously exploded on the morning of April 26, 1986, spreading an unbelievable amount of radiation into the area, including Pripyat.
In the instant the lid is thrown off the reactor, oxygen rushes in. It combines with hydrogen and superheated graphite. The chain of disaster is now complete.
The town was not immediately evacuated, despite dozens of people falling ill and showing signs of acute radiation sickness. The evacuation was finally ordered 36 hours after the blast, and the city remains abandoned for long-term residents. Although governmental authorities still did work in the area, and there is now limited tourism. It's now part of the wider Chernobyl exclusion zone.
Evidence in the form of mild nuclear radiation had already reached beyond the Soviet borders to Scandinavia.
All right, well, that's going to do it. Thanks for exploring the world's scariest locations with us. I've been Matt for Watch Mojo, and I'll see you next time.